to Monterey. This is some of the finest water for paddling along the entire 1,000-mile California coast. Whether you're on the flat-protected waters of the harbor or out there in the surf zone. Today, conditions look perfect for a safe, relaxing paddle, but conditions can change rapidly, and even the most experienced paddlers can find themselves in trouble at any time. So today, on behalf of the California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways, I'm going to tell you the essential things you need to know to be safe on the water, whether you're an experienced paddler or a novice. I've invited some friends along and I can see they're waiting for us. So come on, let's go. Today we'll be talking about the three main areas of paddling safety: personal safety, boat safety, and water safety. Of course, you'll need to learn about how to paddle properly, so take a class and then paddle with an experienced partner. Never paddle alone. You'll find information about finding a class at the end of this film. Okay, so let's talk about personal safety. Everything you'll need to know to be safe on the water. Hi, Brad. How you doing?
Doing good.
Nice to see you. Thanks for helping me out today.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Hey, Brandon, nice life jacket.
Oh, thanks, Cynthia. I just got the new inflatable style.
Yeah, aren't these inflatables great?
So low profile.
This, of course, is your most important safety item, your life jacket. When paddling, you should expect to end up in the water sometimes. It's part of the fun. Over 75% of drownings never would have happened had the victim been wearing a life jacket. Now, people think that life jackets have to be bulky and uncomfortable, but that's just not true anymore these days. They come in a wide variety of designs and colors, but the most important thing is that you select one that's appropriate for your size and weight. Check the label and make sure that you're meeting the right size and weight limits. When selecting a life jacket, make sure it is appropriate for your activity and the water conditions. Inflatable life jackets are comfortable, but for surf and whitewater kayaking, wearing an inherently buoyant life jacket may be the best choice. Adjust the strap so that it fits snugly, tight enough that it can't be pulled up over your head. You'll notice most life jackets have pockets or pouches where you can keep your sunglasses and your sunscreen. But the most important accessory for your life jacket is a whistle so that you can sound the alarm in the case of an emergency. When it comes to footwear, be sure to wear lightweight shoes like running shoes or water shoes with rubber soles and enclosed toes for protection. Choosing your clothing is very important because you should always be prepared to end up in the water. So, choose your clothing according to the water temperature. In an extreme situation, if you're in the water for an extended period of time, hypothermia can be fatal. A water temperature of 50 degrees can lead to death from loss of core body temperature. The important thing is to dress in at least 3 layers. The layer next to your skin should be a polypropylene shirt which wicks perspiration away from your skin. Next is the warming layer, a fleece jacket. And the outer layer is a nylon windbreaker or spray jacket that repels water and protects you against wind and sun. All these layers should be synthetic materials so that they dry quickly. Try to avoid cotton and wool because they retain water. Some paddlers use a sleeveless wetsuit as the skin layer, allowing freedom of movement and providing extra protection in cold water. In fact, in places where the water temperature is less than 60 degrees, a wetsuit is essential. On a warm day, you can keep your extra layers in a waterproof bag. This is also a great place to keep a cell phone and keys. When you're on the water, you're going to catch a lot of rays even if it's overcast. So in addition to your high SPF sunscreen, you're going to want to wear a hat. And if you're playing in the surf or around rocks, a helmet like this will provide additional protection. And last but not least, always carry plenty of water. You can get dehydrated easily out on the water, and in extreme situations, this can be very dangerous. And rule number 1, when it comes to liquids, leave your alcoholic beverages on shore. Alcohol and boating don't mix. Many accidents can be attributed to the consumption of alcohol, and what's more, it can increase the risk of hypothermia and dehydration. So, let's recap these fundamental rules of personal safety. Always wear a life jacket. Carry a whistle. Dress for immersion. Dress in layers. Keep a dry bag on board. Use high SPF sunscreen. Stay hydrated, and no alcohol on the water. Up next, boat safety. What you need to know about choosing the right boat and the right gear for your paddling adventure. There are different types of kayaks, and they're designed for specific types of kayaking. Broadly speaking, there are two types of kayaks. There's the sit-on-top kayak for calm water kayaking like we have here in the harbor, and there's the sit-in kayak for those that want to play out in the surf. It's very important to have the right kind of kayak for the location and conditions. Specialty kayaks such as those used by anglers are growing in popularity. And by the way, whitewater river kayaking is a separate subject that will not be covered in this video. Before you get on the water, you should always check your boat for damage or other problems. Make sure there are no cracks or holes in the hull. Also, check your paddle. Make sure it's not damaged. Selecting the correct paddle size is important. Standing with your arm raised above your head and the paddle vertical at your side, you should be able to wrap your fingertips around the top of the blade. Wider boats may require a longer paddle. A paddle leash is a good idea, especially with a touring or sit-in boat, so you don't have to worry about it floating away. And it's never a bad idea to carry a spare paddle in case you do get separated from your paddle. Now let's take a look at some accessories you want to have for the sit-in kayak. Number one, a spray skirt. Most sit-in kayaks are designed to use a spray skirt to keep the water out of your boat. They come in specific sizes for both you and your kayak. And number two is a bilge pump. Whatever kind of kayak you have, you're going to want to have one of these on board. The very first thing you're going to want to do if you capsize is get the water out of your boat. The pump should be stowed securely on the boat in a place that's easily accessible in an emergency. Next, a paddle float. This is a float that you can secure around the end of your paddle and inflate like a balloon. For self-rescue, this turns your paddle into a stabilizing brace that allows you to get back into your boat in deep water. Again, this is a must-have piece of equipment that you should always carry with you. Another crucial piece of gear is a throw bag. This is a bag containing a length of rope that can be thrown to someone in distress or used to tie up or tow your boat. Like your paddle float, it should be easily accessible. And finally, it's always advisable to carry a first aid kit, including matches or a lighter, and a repair kit for your boat containing a small roll of duct tape and epoxy adhesive. And even if you're not planning on being out after dark, it's a great idea to carry a waterproof, bright LED flashlight. These items, as well as any additional items such as food and a change of clothes, should be packed in dry bags and secured in your boat or on the deck. Most boats have bungee cords for this purpose, and it's always a good idea to have a few extra with you. Now, this isn't really that much stuff, but if you're planning on camping overnight or fishing, you're going to run into the temptation to overload your boat. Overloading makes your boat much harder to handle, especially in an emergency or adverse conditions. So be sure to know the limits of your boat in terms of the combined weight of you and your gear. Okay, we're nearly ready to get out on the water, but first let's do a quick review of boat safety. Always make sure you have the right boat for the right trip and conditions. Check your boat and paddle for damage. Select the right size paddle for you and your kayak. Use a spray skirt if appropriate, and always carry a bilge pump, a paddle float, a tow rope, and dry bags for first aid and repair kits, a flashlight, food, personal items, and a change of clothes. Next up, water safety. What you need to know about the rules of the road and the occasional surprises Mother Nature can send your way. Okay, now we're nearly ready to take off. We have all the necessary gear to make sure we'll be safe out there. But before we go, there's a few more items we want to take care of. First off, check your map. Carry a GPS device if available, and file a float plan. This means to simply write down where you intend to put in and take out and when you expect to return. Give it to someone who will call for assistance if you don't return on time. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you're a novice paddler, the most valuable preparation you can do to be safe is take a class. You'll find information on how to find a kayaking class at the end of this video. You'll learn essential things like how to get into and out of your boat safely and the right ways to use various strokes for maneuvering safely and efficiently. You'll even learn how to stay in a sit-in kayak and roll back up if you capsize. This takes a bit of practice, but it's a very useful skill to have. Now it's time to talk about the 3 W's: wind, waves, and weather. Conditions can change rapidly out on the water. What starts out as a calm, leisurely paddle can end up as an exhausting struggle back to the dock, fighting against wind and currents. This is especially true out in the surf zone. Be sure to always check the weather forecast before you set out and be prepared to call your trip off if there's any indication that conditions might turn rough. The golden rule is always paddle within your and your group's limits. Other hazards you need to look out for are underwater objects such as tree branches and rocks in shallow water, low head dams and bridge supports. Look out for and steer clear of channel markers and buoys, and of course, other boats. And if you're paddling in the surf, keep a lookout for surfers who are paddling out, waiting to catch a wave or riding a wave to shore. Always check local ordinances for swim and surf areas. Be polite and observe the surf codes of conduct. In areas like this, in Moss Landing and the Elkhorn Slough State Marine Conservation Area, it's not unusual to encounter wildlife. You may even encounter whales out beyond the surf zone. It's important that you maintain a safe distance for their safety and yours. Federal law mandates that you stay 100 yards from whales and 150 feet from smaller marine mammals. You should also never feed any kind of wildlife. And on the water, just like anywhere else, do not litter. Remember the golden rule wherever you go: leave no trace. Now, let's review the main things to remember about water safety. Before you head out, study the area and always carry a map or GPS device. File a float plan. Prepare for the 3 W's: wind, waves, and weather. Watch out for hazards. Observe the rules of the road, respect the wildlife, and take a kayaking skills class. Here in California, we're blessed with some of the most spectacular waters for kayaking anywhere in the world. From high Sierra lakes to breathtaking rivers to endless miles of Pacific coastline. Enough for a lifetime of paddling adventures. So be safe. Go explore. California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways wishes you safe paddling.